Bob Connors, your host, and we are going to have a very good conversation with Mr. Chris Dutton today and learn a little bit about Blame My Roots. You're going to have to explain this all to me because I know nothing about it, but welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
How about if you start with telling me where will this take place?
Yeah, it'll take place in Belmont at Valley View Campgrounds, which is just right along 40 there, across from the old Jamboree in the Hill site.
And so that's about how far from where we are now in St. Clairsville? That's
is it about 3 miles?
3 miles, so it's right here.
From downtown, maybe 2.5 miles, something like that.
Okay.
3, not quite sure.
That's why I wanted to know about the location so people could find it. If you were telling anybody how to get there, how would you tell them to get there?
I would say if you knew where Jamboree in the Hills was, and you're out there and you look across the street at Jamboree in the Hills, just look across the other way and you'll see our big barn there.
So almost nobody knows where Jamboree in the Hills.
Yeah, nobody knows what Jamboree is, right? Or where it was. We're right across the street. We've been a campground there for 28 years. And we have a big white barn with a big red roof that sits there right by the road. So if you're traveling down 40, you'd recognize where it is.
Well, what is it about? What happens there? What are you guys going to be doing?
Well, we are mostly just bringing, Nashville talent, Nashville, country music that was seen, and that the folks that played across the road Jamboree, we're just bringing them across the road into our property, on our farm, on our campground, and doing a much bigger version of what maybe Valley View Campgrounds was before, which is a smaller version of what Jamboree in the Hills was before, right? So, for 3 days of music, we're going to have about 28 artists playing for those 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's the third weekend of July, like it always was for Jamboree. And we're essentially just bringing a much bigger production into the center of our campground, open to the public, open to campers, that kind of thing.
So anybody who loves the Jamboree in the Hills is going to love what you're doing even more.
They're gonna love it. It's gonna be very familiar. It's gonna be very familiar. We had a lot of people. We had thousands of people that would be hanging out with us as Valley View campers that would be patrons for Jamboree. We'd also do music there, so we would have music after the show. So we're a little familiar with smaller production of music. In this case, we're just bringing in much bigger stages. We're bringing in 2 of them, in fact, with a third smaller stage. We're bringing in all, first-class sound. All this stuff is coming in and getting delivered and set up that week, and just a much bigger version of what we did before. And again, much bigger talent.
What days will it be?
Camping starts July 14th, a week of camping like most people are used to with Jamboree.
July 14th.
And then the music starts July 18th, Thursday, July 18th, through Saturday, July 20th.
So you can get in there and camp July 14th. Music starts July 18th. It'll be the 19th and 20th.
Yes.
And by then, everybody will be having a good time.
Everyone should be having a good time by then. In our experience with it, everyone's having a pretty good time. Maybe starting July 14th. Everyone comes in there for the week almost, and they have a good time. Like I said, it's a camping experience as Jamboree always has been, and it's also anyone that just lives down the road, anyone from the area that's driving distance. You can do that too. You don't have to be a camper to enjoy Blame My Roots.
So you can just come in and spend
just
the
for the day.
there.
Yeah, you can come in for the day, or if you have a 3-day ticket and come in and park every day and come in, you don't have to be a camper. You don't have to be a camper to enjoy it.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Now, I'm imagining that this takes quite a bit of doing to put one of these together. So maybe you can talk to us a little bit about creating Blame My Roots in such a short period of time.
Yeah, well, it takes more to do than maybe we thought. All right, which we knew was going to be a little more difficult. I have the luxury of being I'm a realtor in Columbus. So I've sort of set off my business there and just focused on this full time, which has been allowed me to be able to do this first and foremost. But the process started obviously shortly after Jamboree in the Hills decided they were going to go on hiatus for the year. We decided right around Thanksgiving that, okay, let's start researching this thing, seeing if we can do something. The booking process went all the way through February. We didn't know if we were going to have a show until we put the whole lineup together, see if we had a ticket we could sell.
Yeah.
We really came to that conclusion the last week of February, and then had to come up with an announcement in early March. We finally announced it on March 14th. Really, putting all the pieces together outside of just booking talent. That's one piece.
I would imagine that by itself would take quite a bit of doing.
It did. I didn't sleep through February. The final parts of it, trying to figure out how all these artists go together, who is available, who's not, who's going to be our closers, who's going to be our openers, how all the pieces work together, where they're traveling in from, all that stuff takes a considerable amount of time. Seeing who some of the people, what their set looks like, how long they want to play. What they look like. A couple of the people a couple of the smaller guys, I didn't know who they were and that kind of thing. So you want to make sure that you're putting a show together that can sell a ticket. So we spent a considerable amount of time just on that part.
Wow, I bet.
We announced March 14th, and then that comes the onslaught of, okay, we need to ramp up our security, ramp up our medical and our EMTs and our EMS. We need to get all the insurance in line. We need to get all of our staff. We're doubling up our staff, doubling up our everything, all the pieces that go together with it, let alone just the production part of it. We have 3,000 linear feet of fence coming just to fence this part of it off. We have the rented stages. Their in sound is about 1.5 million in production that's coming here. We're not renting it for that, but that's the cost of all this stuff that's coming in, that week to be set up for this thing. So, getting all those details, let alone the riders, right? What does Trace Atkins want to eat? That is stuff we've been dealing with for 3 months.
Right.
The Jamboree, everyone who was working for Jamboree knows that stuff. They know how much of a pain in the butt it is to figure that stuff out, right? Yeah. So, it's a lot, and we've been doing a lot of it truly since March.
So I'm imagining that setting up the venue with where the camp is going to be, how things are going to work, and security must be something quite a task by itself too. Can you give us a little idea of how that works?
We've always had a really good security force there. We've had about 3 teams. We've had just as we were operating as Valley View, because it was a small town out there. We would have 6,000 people out there, just campers, and they would stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Some didn't sleep. I mean, it was after the Jamboree ended, we would see a lot of parties start up. So we had a considerable amount of security already, and we're amping it up considerably as well with bringing in the sheriff's department. We'd always had a couple out there. Now we have a lot more of them out there. We're bringing in more security just to roam around the concert area. More people at the gates and things like this. So, from a security standpoint, we feel pretty good with what we were able to manage with the campers before, and it's just a ramped up version of that with what we're doing this year.
Are you planning on doing anything like televising this to get out to a
We
broader
can't tell it.
audience?
We're not televising any of it. We were in the booking process. We're a little bit at the mercy, considering that we were booking this stuff in January and February. We were at the will of some of the artists and their managers. We didn't negotiate a whole lot. It was what they wanted, and we just agreed to it. Getting into TV is a whole nother point of negotiation with them, and we just didn't get into it. So nothing's going to be televised. There's no deal with any of the local stations or anything like that to televise any of them.
So for those who are interested and think they're going to stay home, they're going to have to come out to see it, right?
They're going to have to come out to see it. One fun thing too is there's a lot of different opinions about maybe Jamboree in the Hills, what it was, how crazy it is out there. We've seen over the 28 years, we've seen a mix of it. We've seen pretty low key people. We've seen the opposite.
Yeah.
One part of the festival that I've sort of incorporated is that we have this third stage that's just for local acoustic acts, and it is outside the main gate. And it's right beside all of our food vendors. So, I sort of envision if you wanted to sort of stay out of the fray a little bit, you could come park, eat at one of the food vendors, and watch some local acts all afternoon. And that could be your experience out there. So that's just a piece of this whole thing when I was putting it together. Just that there's a lot of opportunity to see music. There's 28 total acts. Not all of it is inside the gates.
Yeah. So you just mentioned some food.
Yeah.
Many people like I
Mm-hmm.
am very interested in food. What kind of food is going to be available there?
Yeah, we put out the word to get as many local vendors as we could. We have a mix of local and some regional folks. Some people coming in that have always been at Jamboree. I know there's a Euro truck that always comes to Jamboree and that kind of thing. So we have those guys back. You know, just in general, whenever we announced that we were doing something in March, a lot of people reached out to us. Like hey, we always did Jamboree. I want to be out there. So we have the Wood-Fired Pizza Company. They're going to be out there. They're an awesome local pizza stop. We have DeCarlo's. We have burger places. We have Euros. We have that whole mishmash of stuff. It's pretty well covered. We have over a dozen vendors right now.
So with all of that food, it sounds like a pretty good party out there.
I think we're gonna. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. In fact, what we're doing, we have a restaurant too in Morristown. We're doing a lot of the hospitality. We're also doing food for VIP. So I haven't really seen it before where you can get a VIP ticket and get fed. So I wanted to use the restaurant a bit. So for the VIP ticket, inside the VIP area, we're going to serve a barbecue dinner for a couple hours, Friday night and Saturday night. So I think that'll be a cool opportunity too to have a little local fare.
Yeah, your restaurant in, what'd you say it was in?
It's in Morristown.
In Morristown. I've been there.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago. What's the name of it?
The Pike 40.
No, you didn't say that earlier, so I thought maybe you might want to say the Pike 40.
Yeah, the Pike. Well, please. Yeah. No, we're proud of it. We're proud of we're proud of the food that comes out of there, and we're proud of how it looks. We just did a big addition to the
right
back
on Old 40 there.
Right on Old 40, right across near Union Local High School. Right at it used to be the old Deli 40 or 40 Deli, however you remember it. Then Fastlane Cafe, that same building.
Yeah, I did go out there, and the food was good. It
Good.
was good. I had a beer and enjoyed myself.
Yes, you can. You can enjoy yourself there all weekend. We have music. We have live music out there. So
oh, do you really?
Music's sort of been a part of our family. My brother's a musician. My grandfather was a musician. We follow a lot of music. We go to a lot of festivals, things like this. So I wanted to bring in music. So I started doing it with the Pike 40, and then just on a much bigger scale doing this with the festival.
Well, I'm really glad you're reviving the festival area there because that's really pretty popular.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've got kind of a new twist on it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you wanted to kind of keep some tradition. Some things I mentioned this before. Just some things are just Jamboree and it's sacred to Jamboree, and we're just leaving it alone. Some things we just can't do because of our scale. But then some things are just a little more refreshing and new. So.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be quite a good time out there. What can you mention some of the different acts that you're planning on having?
Yeah, we have. We're proud that we have Trace Atkins coming. Obviously, he's a big name. He's on TV. Trace Atkins has actually been there before. He came across the street after he played at Jamboree and hung out with us a little bit at the campgrounds. We have Tyler Farr. We have Lindsay L. We have Joe Diffie, Whiskey Myers. Whiskey Myers just got signed on to open up for Rolling Stones. So they're a band that's really growing.
Yeah.
We have Ryan Hurd. Local guys would be Tim Allum. We have the Stickers out of Pittsburgh. We have another guy that's getting really big is a guy named Dylan Carmichael. His uncles happen to be John Michael Montgomery and Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry. He's got this awesome voice. He's got a lot of money behind him and a lot of push behind him. So there's 28 in all, including our local musicians that are going to be playing there. And we're pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that sounds like a really
It's a lot of
good
people.
lineup.
It's a lot of people. My idea with this thing was the moment you park, you hear music, and I think 3 stages is going to accomplish that.
And you're going to be hearing music as long as you're there, I imagine.
You're going to be hearing music as long as you're there. Yeah. I mean, I would love to have. My dream is that Valley View Campgrounds would have turned into more of an area where people would bring their music, because we have a lot of campers that would bring acoustic guitars and things like this and play. And it'd be fun to just, anywhere you're walking around there, you hear people playing music and enjoying themselves, and not just inside the concert gates,
Yeah, but just wherever they are, they bring their guitar.
Yeah. We have some of those people, and they play, and it's better, and then open up their cooler, and then the music gets a little worse as they do, as they, but it's sort of fun to see that stuff. Campers
Yeah.
enjoying themselves, not just on the slip and slides, but also playing music for each other.
Yes, that would. That just sounds like fun, like a very comfy, come on home place.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I've been to festivals like that are heavily attended by musicians and things like this. It's pretty fun.
Well, that's great. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about?
Well,
this?
our tickets are on sale now. We have a price break coming up at the end of June. So for a 3-day pass, it's $150 for the ticket. You can get that at BlameMyRootsFestival.com. You can get camping passes on there as well. And all of our social media, we're on Instagram, Facebook, we'll be on Twitter in July. All that stuff, all those social medias, they point you to that direction really for the ticket sales too. So ticket sales are online. Again, 3-day, $150.
How would somebody find it online?
The website is BlameMyRootsFestival.com. You can just search that. Blame My Roots is luckily it's kind of streaming up the boards there. So if you Google it, you'll more or less hit it. Anyone that's on social media can find us on social media. Blame My Roots Fest, I think, is the handle. And we're pretty active on there daily, posting stuff about it. So yeah, it's pretty easy to find us. So.
Well, that's good because I think people are probably going to want to start making that move to get the tickets pretty soon here, right?
Yeah, we've had a lot of good pre-sale activity right now, and we see a lot more of that coming. I mean, it hardly feels like summer, so I don't think with all the rain and everything, it's not the, Jamboree is coming around the corner. It is halfway through June. It just doesn't feel like it outside sometimes. But
when is the date again?
July 18th through the 20th. Third weekend in July.
20th, but they can arrive July 14th and start
Campers can
camping
come
out.
in and get their spot. Yeah, we open Sunday, July 14th. We've always opened that Sunday before. I think a lot of the area campgrounds did too.
So it's not that far off. That
It's
people
not. It's a
wouldn't
month. We're a little under a month.
It's time to get your tickets.
It's time to get your tickets. It's time to get your plans together, get your friends together. Make sure you have those plans for that weekend.
Okay, well, it's been very interesting talking to you about this whole thing. I think it's amazing that you put this together.
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, I love that we were able to do it. It took a little while. Again, it took from December through February to even figure out if we were able to do it. And the only thing we were able to put together was booking and to come up with a name. And the name was important to me. I wanted something with roots in it because the tradition and the roots that country music has in the area. And I think it's just, I'm really proud of what we're able to capable of put together in such a short period of time.
Yeah, well, you should be. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate
This
it.
has been really, really good, and I hope
Yeah.
that the folks who are watching this video at some time will run out and get their tickets and come and enjoy the show.
They'll have a good time.
I think they will.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Bob Connors, your host of today's History Upper Ohio Valley. And on behalf of the great folks at ESV Teleproduction, we'll see you next time. Welcome back to today's History Upper Ohio Valley. I'm Bob Connors. I have a great guest here, David Logan. David,
Bob.
welcome.
Nice to meet you, sir.
We're going to be doing a little chit-chat about what's going on in Bethesda, and I have a few questions for you. I'm hoping you'll be able to answer those. And we'll start out with, what is Chautauqua Days?
Chautauqua Days is our celebration that we have every year. We've had it for the last 30 consecutive years. It was discontinued for a short time, but then it was reinstated 30 years ago. And it's a wonderful celebration with a Christian-type atmosphere, and it just brings back old memories and old times. And we have quite a large gathering over there.
Wow, so it sounds like, I've heard about people who have been over there to see what's going on, and if people haven't heard about this, it's really kind of interesting. And I expect you're going to have a lot of things going on there. What's going to take place at this year round?
Well, Bob, that's probably one of the best kept secrets in the valley is this little park that's over there. And we will have a fishing tournament to kick it off for the kids.
Oh, wow.
On Saturday morning. And they will fish around the lake. It's supported by the village and Hazen Lodge over there. And in turn, by every child that registers and fishes, and there'll be probably 200 of them around that lake, will receive a brand new fishing pole, rod, and reel.
Oh, wow.
And so they start that off, and then they have awards and so forth up in our open air auditorium. And then that kind of kicks it off. And of course, with all the food and vendors and everything that'll be attending also, it'll be quite a celebration.
Yeah, what kind of food? That's an interesting part for me a lot. What kind of food is going to be available around there?
Well, we'll have everything from, of course, hot dogs and conies and sloppy joes and chicken sandwiches, and we'll have all the food, not fair type food. This will be all home cooked stuff and quality, and it's very, very reasonable.
Yeah.
We'll have a meal on Sunday that will start at 12 o'clock, and we're going to have smoked pork, baked potato, mac and cheese, homemade green beans.
You're telling me this at lunchtime?
Yeah, 12 o'clock we're going to serve this on Sunday. But we'll have ample food. There'll be a very large assortment and variety of food.
So people after church can run over there and have lunch.
They sure can. Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope they do. But there'll be entertainment.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the entertainment.
Entertainment on Saturday will be Diane Parsons and her band. She'll be singing 40s, 50s, 60s, some 70s. We'll have the Schumann Band that evening. So you have afternoon entertainment, you have evening entertainment. We'll have, on Sunday afternoon, we'll have Almost Famous, that band. And these are all good bands, good quality music, and a variety of music. It's not the same thing over and over, you know.
Yeah, so somebody can come out there and catch some music, eat some food, and just kind of enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
It sounds fun.
There'll be, Bob, there'll be probably at least 35 vendors there.
Wow.
And we pride ourselves in a variety of vendors where they're not all just the same thing.
Yeah.
And that'll be well established.
Yeah. So I understand that there's a car show, and I think I'd like to hear a little bit more about that. Can you talk a little bit about the car show?
Yeah, there'll be a car show. There's a lake at this park, of course, and across the lake is a ball field and a big playground and all that the village has, and they'll put on a very nice car show, and it'll be pretty good size. It'll be, and the nice thing about it is all these things, there is no admission fee, you're not asked to spend any money. Just come to the park and step back in time.
Yeah.
Because this park was established in 1870. And with those old cottages...
Can you talk a little bit about the history? That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
1870?
the park was established in 1870. They built most of the cottages by the turn of the century. And there was originally 100 cottages or so, and now we have 60 left. But they're all done in Victorian style, and they are patterned after Chautauqua, New York. And that's the big celebration up there. I don't know if you're familiar, but Chautauqua, New York is huge, and it's all built in Victorian style. And we are a replica of it. And then, in turn, why we have this Chautauqua celebration, and we're one of the few Chautauqua sites left in the United States.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the what'd you call them, the cottages, or the buildings that you're talking about?
They're very quaint.
What?
They were originally all built exactly the same. They looked like cookie cutters at one time. But now, through the years, people have made changes. The cottages are predominantly all white. They have different colored tin roofs on them. People kind of like to do something different than their neighbor. And then they trim them in different colors.
So there's people who live in these cottages.
Yes, the park is only open for 6 months, and it opens like April 1st and closes November 1st. And the reason we have to do that is because the water lines are only about that far under the ground.
And it freezes up, I'm sure.
Yeah. But over the years, some of the history of the park, you go back, William Jennings Bryan, you got Norman Vincent Peale, William McKinley. These kind of people spoke at this park, and it used to bring 10 to 15,000 people by buggy and by train into this little park. And it's just amazing. It's probably the best kept secret in the Ohio Valley.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty interesting place to just go and look at the history of what goes on there.
Yeah.
Let alone all the good food. And the car show, what if somebody has a car they want to bring out there? What do they do?
Well, they need to be there and register, of course. And that car show will be Sunday afternoon. And so they need to come out and get their car registered.
So they'll come out Sunday, what, any time frame?
I'm not real sure. Probably in the morning.
Sometime in the morning, get registered, and then have your car there for the
by 10 o'clock.
by 10 o'clock or so.
Sure.
So there's some great cars in this area, so hopefully they'll show up out there.
Yes. Yes.
It's always fun to.
It seems to grow every year.
Yeah.
It just gets bigger and bigger.
Car shows are very popular. It's really interesting.
They are.
Yeah, you have basically a car show and a cottage show because people want to see those buildings and they want to see these old cars.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And we refer to this park as the Garden of the Oaks, and it's kind of interesting, Bob. The oak trees in this park are huge, and they're old. They're 300 to 500 years old.
Wow!
And when you think about it,
that's amazing.
That's amazing. When you think about it, one of these trees might have been a sapling when Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Wow. Wow.
So it's amazing to see these big old trees.
They're that's huge. Another part of why you would want to go there, to see that. To be around anything that's been alive for 300 years is amazing.
Yes.
I think that's
yeah. And the cottages are all 125 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it would be a step back in time.
It's a step back in time, but we have done a wonderful job of keeping it up so it doesn't deteriorate and go away.
You've been doing it, it's been going on about 30 years now, you saying?
Well, 30 years consecutive for Chautauqua.
Yeah.
And then consequently why the cottage owners went together last year and bought the park from the Methodist Foundation. And because it used to be a youth camp also for the Methodist Church. And that's before they moved to Leesville, and used to be the Steubenville District, all went to this park.
Yes.
And so those are a few years back, but we're maintaining the park and taking real good care of it.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. I was just thinking that people who are living in the area and maybe aren't going to get away for a vacation this year, going to places like that is like being on vacation. It's special, even though it's nearby.
Yes, it is.
It's like being on vacation, taking some pictures by those 300-year-old trees. I mean, I could see a good time to be had there for all.
Right. And we have nice settings where you can be in front of the wishing well. It has a nice fountain to it, a beautiful gazebo, different settings where you could have your pictures and portraits made and so forth. We even have weddings there.
Do you?
And people schedule weddings in our open air auditorium. It is covered and all, but it has a nice stage and all, and that's where the bands will perform.
Wow. It sounds like you're going to have a good time over there. So let's get that location and date back out here.
Well,
but go ahead.
It's July 13th and 14th. If you're traveling on I-70, you get off at exit 208 and turn towards Bethesda. The sign is there. It's only about 3-4 miles off the highway down there.
Yeah.
And if people are familiar with Bark Camp or anything, you would bypass Bark Camp and go on down, and you'd turn and go to Bethesda. It's just a little village, but
Yeah.
very unique, very quaint.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a destination for vacation. You know, to just go up there and enjoy yourself for the day. It would be like getting away.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost anything to get in.
No,
How do you beat that?
you can't beat that with a stick, can you?
No, you can't. You can't. And there's food and entertainment, great pictures that you can take, the trees,
That's
the
right.
car show. Sounds like a good time.
Fishing tournament. There'll be a train ride for the kids.
Now we got a train. Now
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, we got a train ride for the kids, and the kids can ride, and they'll go take them clear down on the other side of the lake and back and everything. Yeah.
Oh, good. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I'd just like to invite as many people as can come, because it is a very unique and serene atmosphere, and I think they would really enjoy their day, and it won't cost a dime for them to attend.
Wow, that just sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, David Logan, thank
Yes,
you
sir.
very much for joining us.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully we'll have you back another time when we do this again, maybe next year, and see how it goes.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, you're very welcome. And thank you, folks, for tuning us in. This is Today's History, Upper Ohio Valley. I'm your host, Bob Connors, and on behalf of the great talented people at ESV Teleproductions, we'll see you next time.